Right now, deep inside your brain, your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is actively reaching into your hippocampus and pulling the plug on a memory. And the scientists who discovered this admit they have no way to switch it off once it starts. This isn't decay. This isn't age. This is deliberate. Somewhere in your skull, a healthy, functioning circuit is choosing on purpose to make you forget. And by the end of this, you'll know the one rule elite performers use to interrupt it before it costs them. Think about the last time a name vanished mid-sentence. Or you walked into a room and forgot why. Or sat in an exam and watched an answer you knew cold disappear the second you needed it. You blamed stress. You blamed your memory. But that gap wasn't a failure. It was a decision made below your awareness by a circuit built to protect you, and it doesn't ask permission first. Every day, this system is quietly filtering what you're allowed to retrieve, and you have no idea how many memories it's already locked the door on. Here's the mechanism. Your hippocampus is your memory's filing system. It stores the trace, holds the address, hands it back when you go looking. But your prefrontal cortex sits above it like a sensor with its own key. Researchers doing what's called the think-no-think paradigm found that when your brain flags a memory as threatening, distracting, or simply inconvenient, the prefrontal cortex fires down into the hippocampus and suppresses activity there directly. Not forgetting through fading, forgetting through force. Brain scans show the hippocampus going dark in real time, like a light switched off from another room. The memory isn't gone, it's buried. And the circuit doing the burying gets stronger every single time you use it. Here's the part the researchers don't like saying out loud. This system evolved to protect you, to bury trauma, to silence a memory too painful to sit with. That's the merciful version. But the circuit can't tell the difference between a memory that's dangerous and a memory that's just inconvenient in the moment. Under stress, under a deadline, under the pressure of being watched, it fires anyway. Same gatekeeper that shields you from a nightmare will just as happily lock you out of a fact you studied for 6 hours. Neuroscientists who mapped this circuit will tell you plainly. They can identify it, they can watch it activate on a scan, but they cannot give you a switch to turn it off. It fires on its own schedule, not yours. And here's where it gets counterintuitive. You've been told that forgetting under pressure means you should push harder, concentrate, force it, will the answer back into existence. That advice is backwards. The harder you strain against a blocked memory, the more cortisol floods your system, and cortisol is rocket fuel for this exact suppression circuit. Straining doesn't reopen the door, it welds it shut. This is why the moment you stop trying in the shower on the drive home, the memory surfaces on its own. You didn't stumble onto it. You finally stopped feeding the thing that was hiding it. So what do high performers actually do differently? They never fight the gate directly. Memory athletes and elite operators under pressure use a two-part rule. First, before any high-stakes recall, a test, a negotiation, a performance, they run a short, controlled exhale pattern 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out for under a minute. That single act drops cortisol fast enough to loosen the prefrontal grip before it locks down. Second, instead of demanding the exact memory back, they retrieve sideways. They reach for one small, related detail, where they were sitting, what the page looked like, the first letter of the word, because a side door cue doesn't trigger the same suppression response as a direct demand. The gatekeeper only slams the door on force. It rarely notices a whisper. Together, these two moves don't override the circuit. They quietly root around it, which is the only thing that's ever been shown to work. You can use this tonight. Before you try to recall anything important, a name, a fact, where you left something, don't clench and strain. Exhale slow, 4 in, 6 out 3 times. Then instead of demanding the memory, ask for one small piece of it sideways. Let the door open on its own terms instead of trying to kick it down. Do this before sleep, before a test, before any moment your mind has gone blank under pressure, and you'll notice the block lifts faster than it ever has when you fought it. But your prefrontal cortex isn't the only region making decisions without asking you first. There's another structure, sitting just beside your hippocampus, that's been quietly rewriting what you remember about people you love, and it's been doing it for years without your permission.